I would like to welcome Dr. Sasi Kumar. He is a former space scientist, deputy director, educationalist, spiritual director, motivational speaker, and an author. He is the founder of Shiksha Jananam Life Learning Residential Camp. I would like Dr. Sasi Kumar to enlighten us with his words.
Namaskaram. Thank you, Meta Minds, my sister Kusum. I don't know how I got qualified to be a speaker today. It's a short span of contact. Probably gave the courage for my sister Kusum to call me today for this program. I'm glad with the Meta Minds activity. I came to know that the Bangladesh, Delhi contacts with the students, mentors, students, mentees. Meta is a great word. The word for future. The Facebook also is renamed as Meta. Meta platforms. And Connectomics, as it says, the word came from the genomics. I remember 30 years back when people were talking about genomics, it was wonder how the matter and the energy in the body interacts. Probably the largest database which is existing in the world is the human brain. And to that effect, the big data analysis, which is the order of the day, which is the most hottest topic in the computer science, information technology world, need to do a lot of things with the biology. And that is where the big data of the brain became the word Connectomics. In Bharatiya Shastra, in the Eastern philosophy, brain has less importance. Unfortunately, people get confused because people think that thinking is happening in the brain and data is stored in the brain. Every process happens in the brain, which in Indian tradition we don't agree at all. The Eastern philosophy believes, which the West doesn't understand, because we have a great word called manas, which is like a software in the body. Like in a software in a computer, we cannot locate where the software is. The hard disk where the data is stored is the brain. The software is the manas, mana. But there is nothing called manas in the Western biological science. No doctor can tell you where is manas. But we all know that the emotional feelings, I want, I don't want, I don't like you, I like you, I love you. All these feelings are the most occupied activity in every day's, every moment life. And where is it located in biological science? We keep saying, generally when we say love, we keep a heart picture. But then I say you are my better half, and then put a heart picture and put an arrow. Is it that emotions are in the heart? Heart is go on pressing. If you keep your mother in your heart, she will be compressed. The thoughts will go like a blood in your body. But why heart is related to emotions in the biological science? Because whenever we have a feeling, definitely your breathing rate changes. Because of the breathing rate, the heartbeat also changes. But another body part which affects maximum is probably the chemistry factory in our body. Liver also gets affected when your chemistry changes. All these are not controlled by the spare part in our body, but there is something else which is controlling these spare parts, and that is what is called manas. So the Yoga Vasishta, the Hada Yoga Pradipika, all these traditional textbook of psychology and the Sharira Shastram clearly explains Sharira Manaso Yoga Paraspara Manuvrajet Adhara Atheya Bhavena Taptajya Kadayoriva. The body and the mind is related, and the mind is not the buddhi, it is not the brain, but it is the manas which processes everything. It's very hard for people to understand unless you have little background in knowing this. When we keep saying mano, mind is coming there, buddhi. The buddhi, mano is neck first, manas, and then buddhi, and ahankara, and there is a chitta. Chitta is again the purified mind, manas. Vak word comes from mana, from the manas, because input output devices are controlled by the software part in our body which is called the manas. Vak, mana, chakshu. Where is the input coming from? Chakshu, srotra, grana, jihwaredo buddhya agriti sankalpame shuddhyandam. The poet himself says, we don't know where is it coming from. It is all esoteric, undefined. So it's a science which is clearly understood in Yoga Shastram, and the method of controlling is what we call it as Yama Niyama Asana Pranayama Pratyahara Dharana Dhyana Samadhi, and which people call it with a pet name called meditation, and then sell it out. The world agrees. Yoga has got a great role in controlling your thoughts. Today only I posted in the Subhashitam. Every day I post one Subhashitam for the last few days. I only posted today. Sandosha Paramo Labha Satsanga Paramagadi Vichara Paramam Nanam Shamohi Paramam Sukham. Vichara, the reflections on what happens around me, Paramam Nanam, that becomes my knowledge. So my knowledge controls in the brain, and that controlling happens to make me more wiser and wiser through my reflections inside. Who reflects it? My earlier knowledge. Which is the software which works for this? That is my manas. How does it happen and why does it happen and what is the outcome of it? Sandosha paramo labha. My benefit is I feel happy. Is it happiness is controlled by the brain? No. Is the pain controlled by brain? No. When somebody hits here, the pain is not in the brain, it is here. Each cell has got a consciousness which understands what is happening inside the cell. So consciousness, part of the soul in the whole body, every consciousness is a soul inside each of my cell. It understands. And Bhagavad Gita says, when you become a spiritual person, your buddhi, your manas and the soul, the atma, becomes one. Uddhared atmanatmanam atmamanam avasadhet atmaiva kyatmano bantu atmaiva ripuratmana. When you reach there, what happens? Shamohi paramam sukham. You be in silence, you be in happiness, you be in bliss. That is what everybody is looking for. So there need to be a great understanding of not the modern psychology, not the traditional psychology. Everyone is trying to solve the problems of the people, and I am sure as a human being we have a physical requirement. Once the physical requirement is met, immediately the emotional requirements will come. Once physical and emotional control is given, you have the intellectual. Once intellectual, physical, emotional is done, we go for social. Once all this is done, we get into spirituality, and once you get into spirituality, you understand all the other four becomes insignificant. So probably at a different level, we understand physical, emotional, intellectual, social parameters in an entirely different style. Assume you are capable of analyzing and understanding this. You will be able to guide people. If not, what will happen? You will start proceeding only in the physical level, only in the emotional level, only in the psychological level, only in the intellectual level. Suppose somebody says, I am a mathematician basically. Somebody comes and says, I am not able to study mathematics. I must analyze why. Is it a physical problem? Is it an emotional problem? Or is it an intellectual problem? The skill is not able to capture the mathematics. You need little more skill on that. Or is it a social problem? Some people have a social problem and that will bother them too much. I know cycling, but I can only cycle when there is no people around me. I am a public speaker, but not in front of public. In a bathroom, I can do a public speaking, right? So it all depends on how socially I am active. It all depends on, in Ramayana, there is a simple sloka which talks about the human nature. What is called psychology? Purne manasi sampurnam. It all depends on manas, mind. If I can translate as mind. But don't get confused by the Western mind. It is manas. Purne manasi sampurnam. Jagat sarvam sudhadravaihi. The whole world is like that. Purne manasi sampurnam. Jagat sarvam sudhadravaihi. Upana gudapadasya nanu charma strutaivapuhu. You can look at most of my slokas, what I chanted here. I cannot explain because the time given is only this much. You can get explanations on each of these slokas. If you know one line, type DrTPS, go to internet and look at it. I've been doing it, I've been explaining it quite a long time in my life. So we understand Shariram, body, Manas, the software which process it, Buddhi, and the society, the social, everything need to be uplifted to get into a good performance. We are all looking for good performance. It is DrTPS formula, my formula, which says performance P depends on attitude, which is the collaboration of all these together, and skill, your practice which you have, and the opportunities given. If you can do that, you can perform really well. Unless you take a holistic approach, each one's problem is entirely different from somebody's problem, and no general model can work in this. This is what I want to submit. Thank you for this opportunity, and pranams and namaskaram to each one of you.
Thank you, Doctor. That was indeed a very inspiring speech.
Ask a question.
Good evening, everyone. So my question was, since we already know that our environment seems to have a lot of impact on our mental health, right, and how we perceive our environment. So now that we are stuck in our houses, and we have been for the past couple of years, and we don't really have a lot of exposure to nature, which can essentially, change our, change our mood and uplift our mood. Is there any way that we can modify our surroundings while staying at home so that they positively affect our mental health?
I think the biggest problem for teenagers is not SDG, United Nations, Indian politics. All these are bigger politics. I must have spoken more than 100 seminars on SDG. See, I don't think the teenagers of today is worried about what is happening. And understand, the United Nations keep renaming it, and people, because of webinar, we keep doing webinar. As I am called, I am also speaking on that. Once upon a time, it was United Nations programs on development in a different name. Today, it's a different name. And we are talking today in 2022 on a program which is initiated in 2015. And we are saying, keep on saying, but no actions at all. Right? Teenagers' problem, I told you, your performance depends on only environment. That environment can be your home. How do you make your home environment good? The best method is be busy. Swami Vivekananda clearly mentioned the problem of youth is only one, and that is Tushni Bhava, being lazy. I don't think there is no problem for anybody if you are not lazy. If you are really good, Alasyam hi manushyanam, the biggest enemy for any human being in this world is laziness. Alasyam hi manushyanam sharirasto mahan ripuhu. Who is your biggest enemy? Your enemy is you yourself. And there is a bigger mistake which people do. I and the environment, as if I am not part of the environment. Each one of us is part of environment. We are also part of the nature. I wrote a poetry which says, maybe every many poetries are there. In all of them I keep talking about environment. Let this world be free of human being, the problems will be solved. There is no nature problem at all. The roads will become valleys. I wrote it when I was in Delhi with the Prime Minister's office. I was sitting and writing these poems in 2005, 2007, 2009. These are all available on my website. Go and look at it. I don't have time to explain this. It is not nature's problem came just because of SDG. I don't know how many of you have seen the Seaspiracy movie and Cowspiracy movie. People speak talking about this, but they have not seen the world around. There is a great study done by environmental people, not these political environmental people and educational environmental people who only do blah 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 without actions. You must see how people have. I don't know whether you have seen. Last year only 2 movies came, Cowspiracy and Seaspiracy. It's all bigger politics. When we talked about global warming, that was the biggest problem. Now global warming talk is over, only SDG is there. When global warming is there, carbon trading was the biggest business. And those who spoke about that, including the ex-Vice President of America, the global warming swindle, another movie came from Britishers. These are all bigger politics. I think teenagers, students, teachers should be bothered about how individual can be developed with a greater concern on the world around them. More problem is, as the question announced, inside my house I don't have a good environment. People are not communicating each other. And that has to come, and that will come only when you have that attitudinal change. That's why I said attitude, opportunity. That opportunity can be your environment. And you need to have the skill. Why skill is not developed? Because you are lazy. Come out of that. You are in a comfort zone. Come out of that comfort zone. You will see difference. I must have spoken to more than millions of teachers, millions of parents and millions of students. I keep traveling around. For last 700 days I am not traveling. That doesn't mean I did not do anything. There is no single day I left without posting one video which is useful for DPS. That's my name. Teachers, parents and students. All my videos are useful for 3 category of people. You look at it. If there is no message, I will delete it. And no criticisms. I don't talk about the environment is bad, pollution is there. I also lived in Delhi. I don't talk about global warming. Delhi people are living when -4 degree to 44 degree, yeah, in 6 months time. And in the whole global warming, the difference is only 3 degrees in 50 years to come. I am a mathematician. I studied the whole model. It's all bogus. It is to fool the people because you want to divert the attention from the development which is in the hands of the developed nation, and they want these, the great potential countries are there like Africa. They don't want that to be going to somebody else. So understand, the problems are not what you think is being popularized. Problems are entirely different. So focus on that and don't look at problems, look at solutions. I derived a book from the youth when Vivekananda was 150 years old, and the book called Raising of India by the Rays of India. No single negative word is used here. I don't say India is bad, India is polluted, India is dirty, India is untidy. I say you tell about actions what you can do. So what is required is you need to have a vision and a mission and action. 160 people contributed essay from Kashmir to Kerala, from Bengal to Gujarat. I think we need to have a positive thought. Don't blame anything in this world. That's the first thing what you should have. Your mind should be not blaming. The whole Yoga Vasishta was written because Rama was psychologically sick after his 12th class. And he was blaming his father Dasharatha. Immediately he was taken to a psychiatrist, Yoga Vasishta, and then everything was solved. So we need great Vasishtas, not these temporary solutions. And blaming something else, and then adding problems to your problems. That is not what we want.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, certainly we need actions. Certainly. Go ahead, Sanchita, please.
Yes, now I would like Sohani to ask a question.
Good evening, respected panel. since we are having a discussion relating to our surroundings and the impacts that they have on our mental health, so my question goes, as we as teenagers grow, we tend to become more mature and be more concerned about our outward appearance and how we would appear to the people around, their perceptions about us. How can we try to prove and convince ourselves that what matters the most is our personal mental satisfaction and how we feel about ourselves, not what the persons around us have perceived about us?
As Alexa said, meditation. Connection with the self. First step is knowing yourself is meditation. Start with 1 minute. Just focus on your breathing, and within some days you will start finding your own, good points. And the more you will be able to connect with yourself, that is fine if you want to good, the more you will start finding your inner, good points. The more it doesn't matter for you that what other is thinking. And one more thing that I want to say you, that you automatically will start looking beautiful. The shine that will become, start coming from your inside. People will start saying yourself that you are looking very beautiful. So meditation, I think, is one of the things that will help you. And rest, others are, please add on this.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us such a wonderful tip. So I would like now Adya to ask a question.
Good evening, everyone. So my question is, what mantra would you like to share with us for a happy mind in this stressful life?
Say no problem. We keep talking about the problems and say I am in a problem, I am in a problem, I am in a problem. That's a wrong English. When I say I am in a problem, that means you have a bigger problem and you are inside that. Actually, there is no problem which is bigger than you. You should say problem is in me. And clean it out. Number one. And people keep feeling I am useless. That's one of the biggest problem all of us have. I am useless. Nobody is useless. We are only useless. Lot of potential is inside. Once you realize you are useless and you have much more capacity to be more capable of doing much greater things in your life, there is somebody who requires to trigger it. Not telling that you are in a problem, you are in a problem. Yeah, you go to doctors, they will identify all problems in you. Because that is their living ways of making money. So don't. That is the biggest problem. The biggest problem is people want to get entertained by somebody's problems. Once you go to such people, they will see everywhere problems around you. They will add more problems to you. So the first message is no problem. There is no problem in the world. Every problem is only very short-lived. And your thinking about problem is the biggest problem. Adi vyadhi rupena jayate. Adi vyadhi rupena jayate. I am from Himalayan tradition, Swami Rama, Swami Veda Bharati's meditation. I am a meditation master. We never prescribe meditation as a solution and a tablet for somebody else. Meditation is a state of mind where you can achieve when your mind is cool. When somebody is angry, don't tell him keep quiet. He has to shout and finish it. Meditation is not something to be... No, you look at DrTPS meditation, you will see how to meditate. But that's a different mechanism for people who are in peace. We have been selling it wrongly. That's one of the biggest problem. So your capacity has to come meditation in action. Not meditation in closing eyes for 50 minutes and then 23 hours, 45 minutes you are in tension. Every job which you do, when I am talking, put an electroencephalograph and check. My brain vibrations will be nil because I am not using my brain to. When you are learning, enjoy learning. L-I-F-E, what is life? Live in full enjoyment. All my books are with L-I-F-E, life. All my books. This is teen to 20. When all the people have got problems in the teenage. But physically you are the most strongest person. Emotionally, you are the most strongest person. Intellectually, you are the most strongest person at that age. God has given that strength to you. Your parents are much weaker than you at your age. We all crossed through that. We don't realize the capacity of the youth. If that can be realized, you will find that it is very simple. So don't think life is a big problem. LIFE, life is live in full enjoyment. Learn in full enjoyment. I keep saying, whichever subject you have a difficulty in learning, type DrTPS search. Put my number, come and talk to me. I will make it that subject become so simple for you. And you can be the best in that subject. That is what is required. There is no point in saying no problem, no problem. That also doesn't work. If somebody is not able to understand mathematics, somebody is not able to understand history, somebody is not able to understand any subject, we need to support them to learn that. The learning is a big trick. A technique is to be understood. Then you will see that all the problems are simple. So the trick, life is not just that easy for people who don't know. It's like cycling. If you don't know cycling, it becomes difficult. If you know cycling, it becomes easy. So what is required for youth is to teach them how to live. Life skill is to be learned. And that is not blah blah blah. Practically, what is your problem, come and tell. Find a solution for your problems, and that is what is to be done.
Thanks a lot for such heartwarming words. Now, as we don't have enough time, so many more questions are left to be asked.
Good evening to all our guests. So I would like to put forward my question. So my question is today we have reached an era of technology and it is what surrounds us today. So how could we take major steps to protect our environment and to bring a positive change in this era? And how will our brain react to this change?
See, what happens is, today most of the time, what is your environment is what you see around you. What is that you are seeing around you? The morning, as soon as wake up, you see your own face and say, oh, I don't look good. I am not pretty, my nose is not good, my hair is not good. You don't even smile at you. I keep saying, there is one poetry in my poem which says, millions of sperm from the father get into the mother's egg and only one sperm take birth, and that's me. Race for birth is the poetry. Race for birth. Each one of us should understand, millions of sperm from the father get into the mother's egg and only one sperm take birth, and that's me. We are one of the greatest by birth itself. And I think everybody should realize and lift your hands and then say, well done to all of us. Once you realize, you look at the world also as pretty and good. You don't have to find fault what is wrong and then look at it. If you can focus on positive things, your life becomes positive. And therefore, what you see around also will become more and more positive. There are great things to see in this world which is highly good. That is what is to be done. See, I was talking to some of the students in Tanzania and such places in Africa. When we ask 40 students to join, only 2 or 3 can join because the rest of them are not having internet. We are living in a world, at least we are talking now on internet. Do you know in India, nearly 60% of the people are not even connected on internet. Either they have no money, right? That is why I said the physical environment in which you wanted to live together today has become minimum requirements. Earlier it was roti, kapada, makan. Today we have to add internet also. Right? So if that minimum connectivity, electricity is required. I used to travel to Northeast and spend 20 days, 15 days every year for last so many years. You know, when I go there, people keep touching me and say, I said, why do you want? A 9th class child will come and touch me. I said, why do you want to touch me? I want to go home and say, I touched the Indian space scientist. See, they are disconnected with India. One. Number 2, it's rare opportunity to see a creature like this who is from space department. Because nobody travels to such places. They are disconnected from the whole land. You will see some of the people who come from small islands from the Indian Saudi Arabian Sea. They will say, oh, these people are from mainland, we are from island. Mainland is luxury, and then they don't have that luxury of connecting to the whole world. Understand? We have all these opportunities around us. Look at the good things what we are blessed with. I'm sure you will feel much more happier. That is what is to be done. And then share what I have to somebody else. Only when you have, you can share. So don't talk to somebody who doesn't have to share. Those who have, share it to somebody else. That is what is required. And you don't have to be globally sharing. Share it to the next neighbor you have. Share it to your people who are serving you at your house. That itself is a great thing which we wanted to cultivate in our life.
Thank you, sir. I would like.
Thank you, DPS sir. Sasi Kumar sir, namaste.
Namaskaram, Kalicharan, my brother.
A little bit network problem with the system now.
Yeah, nice. We are using such opportunities.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. So, we usually hear social, cultural, and environmental factors influence our stress. So, I would like to know that how do they actually influence and affect the stress and our emotions?
So, compared to me, DPS sir will give the better answer for this one because they are very excellent on these things.
See, every human being is a social being. And social itself means you are influenced by the society. So we have different personalities. By birth we have a basic character. But that character gets modified with the environment in which we are there. So influence of parents, influence of teen, influence of satsang with whom you are associated, the way people speak, the way people react. I told you all your indriyas, input devices is what gives you the way in which you have to answer a question. Assume that you happen to be a son of a military person. Definitely you have the discipline in you. Assume that you have to be in a village. Time has no value there. Because they will say, I will come means you cannot ask him when are you going to come. I will come when I am free. What time he gets up you cannot even demand. Right? But that doesn't mean a villager who is in a farmer's family joins in a military, he will not change. He changes. Because what we have is a basic character. The environment modifies it, and that is what we call it as behavior. The behavior modification is always with the society. And that is the culture. The way in which you live in India is not the way you live in America. It takes only few months of time. That is called adaptability. Not even physical, emotional, intellectual, everything have an adaptability. Assume that your school have got children who are always thinking high. Brilliant, different. Don't think that IIT is different because lab is different, books are different, teachers are different. The environment in which the students, the peer groups are so much influential to you, you will change your patterns. So, the people around you, the ambience matters. Assume that I is always happy to see greeneries. Assume that you are only looking inside your room, only computers and mobile. Go out and see some greenery for some time in your life. Yesterday, full time I was in a farm because I never had a webinar yesterday. So I invested full time in a farm. So when I work there, when I mix with the people, I see greenery, when I drive along, it is an entirely different feeling which you get. So you need to energize yourself looking at the greenery. That nature gives you a lot of different feeling. So there are different patterns. Society, social doesn't mean only people around you. It means to whom you are talking. Satsang, nature, your society which you create makes lot of behavioral change in you. So whom we are, nobody knows. We know only, I know Kali Charan because we met in different webinars. he assesses me in that mode in which I am discussing, because we never met him on a different platform. But assume that somebody else puts, I will be a different person there, because my dealing with him is in that environment. So every one of us have got different behavior patterns, and we are not stable. We are keep on improvising ourselves. I keep saying we are like sharp stones. As we move in a stream, we get more and more smoothened, and it is so beautiful after some time. But some people are not ready to rub with others. They will go beside and they will get rotten. That's why I keep saying always be in action, mix with many people. That is what is called experience. So keep rubbing with everybody. There can be people may mistake you, they may break you into pieces. That doesn't matter. It is the process of making you smoother and smoother. So it is in society's hands. So don't ever hesitate to talk to somebody. I keep my children, when they come for camp, I will ask them a beautiful way of socializing. I keep telling some few addresses and they go and identify this house and then talk to them, get their full details and come back. But on the process, you have to talk to 20 different families. That means minimum 100 people you are talking in a day. 100 people you talk in a day and get to know them is knowing the world. In 10 days camp, they know 1,000 people. They know the whole village. That's how I run my programs. That's what I'm saying. There is no point in being social unless you make them to happen it. When I travel in a train, I speak to all the people in the compartment. When I am in a bus, the next neighbor, I have no escape. I will talk to them. So you have to. That is what is knowledge. Got it? So be social, because we are a social being. Doesn't matter how the other fellow talks to you. Don't worry. Be a social being.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Vanya. And thank you, Mr. Sasi Kumar, for the valuable insights. And yes, a lot of learning has happened in the session, from spirituality to taking actions on taking actions on SDGs, because we are talking a lot about it, and to artificial intelligence. And so running short of time, sir. So that's why I'm calling another very important partner of this project, Metamize, that is Rahana from Bangladesh. Rahana, are you there? Please say a few words.
Namaste, I'm Rahana from Bangladesh. How are you all?
Namaste, madam.
Namaste, madam.
Good to see you, Rahana.
Okay, thank you. A warm and graceful evening to our most valuable, honorable chief guest speaker and management teacher and students as well. Thank you so much and good evening again. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks, speech, and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make the MetaMind project celebration. From this discussion, open discussion, from this webinar, I saw a lot of experienced persons, sir and madam. I remembered some words from this webinar, motivation, self-motivation. I think it is helpful for students, and yoga for safe mind, and positive opinion, positive emotion, meditation, empathy, and control of brain network, and nice PowerPoint presentation. From this discussion, I have learned a lot of things. I think it was helpful for good mind and for in my workplace as well. And my students was a part of this project, and they joined two team maybe webinar to connect with the two teacher, ma'am, Toruna ma'am, and sorry, yes. So I am grateful to you, and I think that there is a question and answer part. I think that a lot of students ask a lot of questions, and I also know many things from these from these portions. So thanks once again. My students have learned a lot of things to connect and collaborate here, and thanks once again our beloved audience for making this webinar as a grand success. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rehana. Thank you. Another valued partners and technology support, Ranjana. Just please say a few words before we end up. Ranjana and Suman ma'am. So Ranjana supported us with whole of
Thank
the
you so much.
live.
I'm overwhelmed by the insights given by each one of the presenters, and it's an eye-opener for us. And thank you, sir, DPS sir, for letting us know that first we have to bring change in ourselves in our immediate environment rather than talking about the changing the world. So it's a wonderful thought, and you are leaving us on a wonderful quotes and wonderful ideas here by each one of you. So I'm overwhelmed, and I'm not finding words to thank you all. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Ranjana. Wonderful support by you, Ranjana. Rehana, thank you for making it for us. Every support is valuable here, you know. So thank you. More important is to connect.
Good
and to
discussion.
collaborate.
Good discussion.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you, Dr. I'm also a teacher, and I'm taking religion class.
I will send
So
the
that
videos with
again-
the question madam also. Question madam will distribute that one. No?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, pranams.
Thank you so much, sir.
Pranams.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
everyone. Thank you, everyone. So more collaboration, sir. Mr. Kumar, sir, more collaboration will happen in future.
Anytime welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
AC sir, we are already looking forward to connect with you.
Sure. I am also more encouraged by our respected DrTPS sir. Thanks,
All
sir.
right.
So kind of you.
So we'll end the call now and we'll reconnect until we.
Thank you, Suman. Thank you, Ranjana. Thank you, Kusum. All the best. God bless you.